A world that never stops talking, one of the most powerful things you can do is choose silence. In 2025, the noise is louder than ever before. Everyone is posting, commenting, and comparing, trying to prove their worth through validation and attention. But the truth is, real strength isn't found in the noise. It's built in the silence. The ones who grow, who evolve, who create real impact are not the ones shouting for attention. They are the ones quietly doing the work when no one's watching, building discipline, vision, and resilience in private. Focusing on yourself doesn't mean ignoring others. Valuing your energy enough not to waste it on things that don't serve your growth. When you focus on yourself, you reclaim your power. You stop letting external voices dictate your value. Stop letting comparison shape your confidence. You stop trying to explain your purpose to people who don't understand it. The truth is, not everyone will see your vision, and that's okay. It's not their job to understand. It's your job to execute. Every moment you spend explaining, defending, or convincing is a moment taken from your progress. In 2025, the biggest flex is peace comes from silence. When you no longer need to prove anything to anyone, you become untouchable. Growth doesn't always look glamorous. Sometimes it looks like distance, solitude, and late nights spent refining your craft while everyone else is talking about what they're going to do. Real transformation happens behind closed doors. The seed doesn't announce that it's growing. It just breaks through the soul one day, strong and unshakable. You are that seed. You don't need to announce your progress. Just keep showing up every single day. Let your habits build your foundation. Let your consistency shape your destiny. Silence doesn't mean doing nothing. It means you are channeling your energy inward. Instead of arguing, you're learning. Approval, you're building mastery. Instead of reacting to negativity, you're protecting your peace. Every time you choose silence over reaction, you strengthen your emotional intelligence. You learn to respond with purpose instead of impulse. Stop letting external chaos disturb your internal balance. The world rewards those who are consistent, not those who are loud. Success doesn't come to those who talk about what they're going to do. It comes to those who take quiet, disciplined action. There's something powerful about a person who keeps moving forward. No matter how much noise surrounds them, they don't post every victory. They don't broadcast every plan. They just do the work because they know results speak louder than any word ever could. When you stay silent, people underestimate you. And that's your advantage. They won't see you coming. While they're talking, you're training. While they're arguing, you're learning. While they're distracted, you're focused. And when the time comes to show what you've built, your growth will be undeniable. The same people who once ignored your silence will be forced to acknowledge your results. Focus is your superpower. In a time where attention is constantly divided, the person who can control their focus controls their destiny. Every notification, every distraction, every opinion is designed to pull you away from your purpose. You must learn to protect your focus like it's sacred. When you give your energy to everything, you have nothing left for yourself. So make a choice to stop chasing noise and start chasing growth. Silence is not the absence of action. It's the presence of control. When you focus on yourself, you begin to notice how much energy you've wasted on people who don't invest in you. You realize that peace feels better than attention. You realize that being understood is less important than being aligned. You realize that your time is your greatest asset. On validation is the biggest loss. Your energy is your currency. Spend it wisely. In 2025, the world will continue to reward those who can stay grounded in chaos. Everyone wants instant recognition. Real fulfillment comes from delayed gratification. It's built through patience, discipline, and focus. You don't need to announce your grind. You just need to live it. When you pour everything into your growth, your silence becomes your power. Every day you wake up and commit to being a little better than yesterday, you're winning. It's not easy to stay silent when everyone around you wants to talk. It's not easy to walk alone when others want to follow the crowd, but that's where greatness is built, in the moments when you choose discipline over distraction, vision over validation, and peace over popularity. The world doesn't need another loud dreamer. It needs quiet doers who turn their dreams into reality. You will be misunderstood. People will think you've changed, that you've pulled away. What we want, right? You're not responsible for their perception. You're responsible for your evolution. Growth requires separation. When you stop showing up for everything and everyone, you create space for the right things to grow. You can't reach new levels while staying surrounded by old habits and old noise. Keep your plans private. Keep your moves quiet. Move in silence, not because you're hiding, but because you're protecting what's sacred. The best version of you doesn't need approval. It needs focus. You don't need applause for every step you take. Your success will make the noise when it's ready. Until then, keep building, keep learning, keep rising. There's a season for everything, a season for building, a season for revealing. Right now, your season may be silence. Embrace it. Use it. Let it mold you. The person who can be patient in silence will be powerful in success. You don't need to rush. You don't need to prove. You just need to trust the process. Every quiet step forward is still movement toward your destiny. Focus on yourself and stay silent, because the greatest victories are achieved when no one's watching. When you master yourself, you master your world. The external noise can't shake someone who has built inner peace. The loudest person in the room is rarely the most powerful. Power comes from control of your mind, your emotions, your focus, your actions. In 2025, choose silence not as an escape, but as a weapon. Let your results be your response. Let your growth be your revenge. Your proof, because at the end of the day, success doesn't need to be shouted. It just needs to be lived. When you stay silent and focus on your own path, life begins to unfold in ways you never imagined. You stop chasing recognition and start attracting respect. You stop chasing people and start attracting peace. And in that peace, you find your power. In that silence, you find your strength. In that focus, you find yourself. Silence is not weakness. It's the most powerful form of strength you can cultivate. In 2025, the world moves at the speed of attention. Crave recognition, approval, and as they measure their value through likes, comments, and followers. But true power doesn't come from noise. It comes from focus, from the ability to stay grounded in your purpose while the world around you screams for attention. When you learn to focus on yourself and stay silent, you step in a different level of control over your life. You stop chasing validation and start chasing mastery. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. Never understand that silence is a strategy. When you talk too much about your dreams, you give others a chance to plant doubt in your mind. You expose your energy to negativity, jealousy, unnecessary pressure. But when you stay quiet, you protect your vision. You keep your power contained until it's ready to be unleashed. You don't owe the world an explanation for where you're going. To keep moving forward, there's something sacred about privacy. It allows your ideas to grow without interference. When you keep your focus inward, you become unstoppable because nothing external can shake you anymore. Focusing on yourself is not selfish. It's survival. You can't pour into others from an empty cup. You can't create abundance if your energy is scattered in 100 directions. To build anything great, peace, purpose, success, you need deep focus. You need to understand yourself, your triggers, your goals, and your mission. You need to silence the world long enough to hear your own intuition. That voice inside you knows what you're capable of, but you can't hear it over the noise of other people's opinions. Scroll every argument. Every unnecessary conversation drains you of the energy you could be using to grow. The truth is, silence helps you realign. It gives you clarity. It allows you to see who you really are and what truly matters. The more you practice silence, the more powerful you become, because silence sharpens your awareness. It teaches you to listen before reacting, before speaking, to act before doubting. When you learn to stay calm while the world panics, you rise above it. You become the person who doesn't need to explain themselves. You let your actions do the talking. That's real confidence. That's real strength. In 2025, distractions are disguised as opportunities. People will try to pull you into conversations that don't matter, arguments that lead nowhere, and validation traps that drain your soul. But if you want to win this year, you must become ruthless about protecting your attention. You need to create mental boundaries. Not everyone deserves access to your energy. Not every situation deserves your reaction. Learn to walk away from anything that steals your peace. Learn to say no without guilt. Learn to be silent even when you're tempted to prove a point. Because silence doesn't mean you're weak. It means you've matured beyond the need to be right. When you focus on yourself, you start realizing how much of your energy was wasted on things that never mattered. You see how much time you spent trying to explain yourself to people who were never meant to understand you. You see how much potential you lost by chasing external validation instead of internal growth. But the moment you redirect that energy inward, your life begins to shift. You start feeling peace instead of pressure. You start attracting opportunities instead of chasing them. You begin to radiate strength, not because you talk about what you'll do, but because you're doing it in silence every single day. Growth doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens in solitude, when no one's clapping, when no one's watching, when no one even believes in you. That's where you find out who you truly are. Real transformation begins. The nights you spend working on yourself in silence, the mornings you wake up and choose discipline over comfort, those are the moments that define your future. Success is built privately long before it's seen publicly. The world only sees the outcome. They never see the quiet grind behind it. You have to trust that your silence is not in vain. You spend alone is not wasted. It's preparing you. Every hour you invest in yourself, learning, growing, improving, is shaping the person you're becoming. You might not see the results right away. Every small step adds up. Every silent effort compounds. One day your growth will be undeniable. And when that day comes, your results will speak for themselves louder than any words ever could. People may misunderstand your silence. They might say, you've changed, that you've become distant. Let them talk. You're not withdrawing from the world. You're reconnecting with yourself. Growth often requires distance. It requires stepping back from noise, from gossip, from anything that keeps you from your higher path. You don't need to explain your silence. Your peace explains everything. The more you value your time, the less interested you'll be in meaningless conversations. The more you value your focus, the less distracted you'll be by the opinions of others. In 2025, learn to stay low while you build. Don't announce your next move. Don't show every step of your progress. Move quietly. Let them wonder what you're doing while you're working. Let them guess your plans while you're making them real. You owe it to yourself to protect your dreams until they're strong enough to exist on their own. Not everyone deserves front row access to your journey. Some people can only appreciate your results, not your process. Staying silent gives you power because it builds mystery, and mystery builds strength. When people don't know what you're doing, they can't interfere. When you don't broadcast your every move, you give yourself space to make mistakes, to learn, and to grow without judgment. You become more focused, more creative, more disciplined. You stop performing for approval and start building for purpose. The most powerful people in the world are often the quietest ones. They've learned that real influence doesn't come from talking. It comes from impact. They don't waste energy proving who they are. They demonstrate it through results. They know that every minute spent defending their worth is a minute lost creating value. You can do the same. Let your work be your response. Let your progress be your proof. You don't need to shout to be seen. You just need to shine so bright that silence becomes your statement. There's a special kind of peace that comes when you stop needing to explain your journey. You start realizing that not everyone will understand your vision because it wasn't given to them. It was given to you. So stop seeking validation from people who can't see what you see. Stop sharing your dreams with those who doubt you. Keep your focus where it belongs, on your growth, your habits, your mindset, because your future is being built in the quiet moments when no one is watching. In silence, you build resilience. You learn to depend on yourself. You stop chasing encouragement from others and start creating momentum from within. Every time you choose silence over noise, you choose strength over weakness. Every time you focus on yourself instead of comparing, you choose progress over distraction. And every time you act without needing recognition, you are driven by purpose, not applause. So as you move through 2025, don't let the noise pull you away from your path. Let others talk, argue, and compete for attention. You stay focused, disciplined, calm. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You just need to be consistent. You just need to be committed. Because the quiet ones are the ones who rise the highest. The world may not see your effort today. Your silence will echo louder than their noise. Most people think that being silent means doing nothing, but silence is one of the most active, powerful, and transformative choices you can make. In 2025, with everyone trying to prove who they are through noise, it's easy to forget that real power grows in stillness. The world rewards those who shout the loudest, but those who truly win are the ones who build quietly. When you focus on yourself and choose silence, you're not withdrawing from life. You're mastering it. You're choosing to put your energy where it counts. You're no longer wasting your strength explaining your purpose to people who don't have the vision to see it. You're using that energy to evolve. Focusing on yourself means turning inward, not outward. Who am I becoming? Instead of who's watching me? The more you care about external validation, the weaker your internal foundation becomes. The truth is, not everyone will support you. Not everyone will understand you, and that's perfectly fine. Your mission is not to be understood. It's to become your best self. And to do that, you must create space. Space from noise, space from negativity. Distractions disguised as opportunities. The quieter you become, the clearer your direction gets. Every person who has achieved something great has gone through a season of silence. A time when no one believed in them, when no one saw what they were doing, when no one was clapping. That silence is not punishment. It's preparation. It's where your discipline is built, where your habits are formed, where your resilience is tested. You can't skip that part of the journey. You can't rise publicly until you've built privately. Every quiet hour spent learning, training, growing is an investment in your future self. The problem today is that most people are addicted to attention. They want to be seen before they are ready. They want to announce their dreams before they've even taken the first step. But what they don't realize is that attention without foundation leads to collapse. When you speak too soon, you invite opinions, and opinions are like weights. They slow your progress. But when you move in silence, you protect your progress from interference. You stay light, focused, and free. Become unstoppable because you're not distracted by the noise. Staying silent isn't easy. It takes emotional strength to keep your head down while others talk about what you should or shouldn't do. Self-control to not react when people misunderstand your intentions. But silence doesn't mean surrender. It means mastery. It means you trust the process enough to not need constant validation. That every effort, every action, every sacrifice will pay off in time. You're not in a race for recognition. You're building for longevity. When you focus on yourself, you begin to see how much energy you've been giving away. You notice how many times you've let other people's opinions change your direction. You realize how many dreams you've delayed just because someone told you it wasn't possible. But when you decide to go silent, when you choose to turn inward and focus on your craft, everything shifts. You stop waiting for approval and you start approving yourself. You stop seeking motivation and you start becoming it. You start trusting your vision more than anyone else's doubts. Incredibly powerful about working in silence. You can fail privately, learn privately, and grow privately. You don't have to perform. You don't have to explain. Make mistakes without the pressure of judgment. And when you come out of that silence, you emerge stronger, wiser, and sharper than before. That's why silence is sacred. It allows you to refine yourself without the noise of the world interrupting your evolution. People who live loudly often do so to distract from their lack of progress. They make noise because they need attention to feel valuable. But when you're truly focused, you don't need noise. You know your worth. You know your direction. You know that the results you're building will speak for themselves when the time is right. That quiet confidence, built from consistent effort and self-discipline, is the most powerful sound in the world. Every minute spent explaining your dreams to someone who doubts you is a minute stolen from actually building them. Every time you react to criticism, you lose focus. Every time you get caught up in other people's opinions, you forget your own purpose. The secret to master in life is learning to let go of what doesn't matter. Not everything deserves your energy. Not everyone deserves your explanation. You don't need to fight every battle. Some things are better left unanswered because you're weak, but because your time is too valuable to waste. In 2025, the people who will rise are not the loudest. They're the most focused. They're the ones who know how to protect their peace in a chaotic world. They don't argue, they act. They don't seek attention. Results, they don't talk about success. They embody it. And that's the difference between those who dream and those who do. The dreamers keep talking. The doers keep building. And when the results finally show, the silence they kept becomes their loudest roar. You must learn to be comfortable being unseen for a while. You must be okay with being misunderstood. You must accept that growth often feels lonely. That's not a sign you're on the wrong path. It's proof that you're on the right one. Every great transformation begins in isolation. The caterpillar doesn't announce its cocoon stage, it simply disappears for a while. And when it returns, it doesn't have to explain what happened. The transformation speaks for itself. When you stay silent, teach yourself patience. You learn to let your work mature. You learn that everything valuable takes time to build. You stop rushing results and start enjoying the process. Because silence is where the foundation of greatness is laid. The conversations you have with yourself in silence are the ones that shape who you become. That's where you confront your fears, your weaknesses, your potential. That's where you find your strength to keep going when no one's cheering. You have to fall in love with the quiet grind. You have to learn to find peace in progress that no one else can see yet. One day, your results will reveal what your silence was preparing. And when that day comes, you won't need to say a word. People who once questioned your silence will be speechless in front of your success. They'll realize that your quiet wasn't absence. It was evolution. Silence gives you perspective. When you're not reacting to every distraction, you start seeing patterns. You start noticing what truly matters. You become more efficient, more creative, more aware. You start moving with intention instead of impulse. That's when you become dangerous, not because you're loud, but because you're focused. There will be moments when your silence feels heavy, when it feels like no one understands your vision. But that's when you must trust the process the most, because silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. It's full of growth, full of the strength you're building to carry the success that's coming. Stay patient. Stay consistent. Stay silent. You don't have to broadcast your every move to prove your progress. You don't have to prove your worth to people who can't see your potential. Let your work be your voice. Let your results be your story. The world doesn't need to hear your plans. It needs to see your results. And those results are born from the focus, the discipline, and the silence you keep today. The time you spend focused on yourself in silence is never wasted. It's the investment that pays you for the rest of your life. You become stronger, wiser, calmer, and clearer. You start living with purpose instead of pressure. You stop chasing recognition and start attracting respect. Because in the end, silence isn't just the absence of noise, it's the presence of power. And when you master that, you don't have to tell the world you're rising. The world will see it for itself.